Pizza Planet, the Krusty Krab, Los Pollos Hermanos, some of the most recognizable food chains around, despite existing only in the two-dimensional fake world of TV and home video, where I appear to be trapped right now. Help! But if you're a gamer, then chances are you'll recognize another fake fast food franchise, Burger Town. Call of Duty's longest-running sponsor, always appearing in the background like a car company behind home plate, subconsciously getting your mouth to water at the mere idea of a classic signature chicken sandwich, deluxe cheese fries, or a fish burger. You know, there's a surprising amount of fish in the lore. And fortunately, all of that free promo hasn't gone to waste, because while many think that Burger Town is completely made up as a parody of something like Burger King, it actually is a real place, according to the Wikipedia. Oh, no, wait, that one needs a citation still. So, I guess we're just making shit up now? Cool. Alright, great, man. We've seen Burger Town pre-order bonuses, Burger Town POIs, and even an entire Zombies Easter egg based on entering the restaurant's iconic buns and raining bombs down upon its patrons. But seeing as Burger Town has appeared in nearly half of all Call of Duty titles spanning over 100 years of history, that begs the obvious question that everyone has been wondering. Has Burger Town been adjusted for inflation? The first appearance of Burger Town was in 2009's Modern Warfare 2, which actually took place in 2016, so just keep that in mind that these are the prices from that era. And it appears that a standard old burger would cost about Now thankfully in 2020, the devs actually remastered this game's campaign, and with it, the infamous Burger Town mission, where you need to defend the franchise from Russian invaders who wish to hit us where it hurts, right in the buns. And so here we get a much better look at the original menu. And as you can see, we've got 9 main options, ranging from your standard classic burger for $5.29, a cheeseburger for $5.69, chicken fingers at $4.49, and even poutine. I guess. And you can also see that they have quite an exhaustive breakfast and side menu, of course, including fries, onion rings, and even a shepherd's garden salad as a little nod to the villain of our story. But that's not all, because then, as you can see on the register, in addition to their meat-based offerings, they also sell shotgun shells, ammo, and tactical vests. But that is the only reference to them anywhere in the building, so I'm gonna just assume it's like a secret menu type situation. So what I originally wanted to do was to find a Burger King menu from 2016 and kind of compare and contrast here, but unfortunately I couldn't find any exact menus from throughout the years, you know, outside of grainy live leak footage of people getting pissed that their chicken fries needed a bit more time in the fryer. I did, however, find something called the Big Mac Index, which is a running record of how much Big Macs cost every single year in a variety of different countries, dating all the way back to 1986. And while the Big Mac is obviously a McDonald's thing, Burger Town's signature burger appears to be a direct ripoff of BK's Whopper, which as of today is the exact same price as a Big Mac. And so we're doing a little bit of creative thinking here, but I'm just gonna say that one Big Mac equals one Whopper equals one Burger Town signature burger. So, all of that said, comparing our Burger Town 2016 menu to actual 2016 prices, Burger Town is a little bit on the high end, but definitely still in the realm of possibility, where Big Mac is $4.50, while Burger Town's is $5.29, as I mentioned. So just slightly more, you know, not crazy or anything though. However, some shady shit started going down in the next Modern Warfare game, where Burger Town can be seen on the map Arcaden, although with a brand new logo that if the menu itself didn't say Burger Town on it, I'd have no idea what this restaurant was supposed to be. However, despite this game sharing a lot of the same assets from the previous game, and even taking place in the same exact year, the menu is slightly different. Now completely getting rid of the cheeseburger option and instead just adding cheese to that signature burger. And then having the gall to raise its price all the way up to $5.99, meaning that real-life burgers were $4.50 while Burger Town was nearly $6. And I'm sorry, that's just a little outside of what I would call the norm. And then the next time that Burger Town appears actually isn't until Advanced Warfare Zombies, now as a full standalone building again, complete with a giant burger sign and a new mascot, Bubby. But inside the building is a brand new digital menu, this time strangely not even featuring a classic burger. And so really the only things that we can compare on this menu are the double burger, the chicken tenders, and fries. Now of course, Advanced Warfare takes place in the year 2054, so we can't exactly use the Big Mac index here. But I was able to find this article tallying up inflation rates for popular real-life fast food chains between 2014 and 2024, in which Burger King landed at a solid 55%. So we're just going to use this number as our scale and extrapolate everything from there, meaning that our inflation rate is going to be 5.5% for every year post 2024, which, Jesus Christ, when I put it like that, I'm starting to think the Roth IRA was a bad idea. That joke was for all 3 of my viewers over 30, by the way. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. And so that means that adjusting for inflation, the double burger should be about $20, the fries should be $6.77, and chicken fingers would be just under $14. But the actual prices in AW, while still a bit higher than they were in 2016, are actually pretty affordable, and about half of that expected price, with the fries only being a nickel more expensive at $2.25, compared to fries currently here in present day 2025, where they already cost over $3 for a medium. Now, although Burger Town is by far the most common individual restaurant in the COD universe, there were a number of places that I always thought it was, but apparently my memory is just straight up wrong. Like in COD Ghosts, the map Strike Zone, which takes place at a baseball stadium, has a completely different burger joint called Beef Wave, which is just an objectively worse name for a burger joint. And instead, the main culinary attraction here is a hot dog stand named Ronnie's World Famous Hot Links, with their very own mascot, who actually talks to you if you throw a knife into his meat hole.
Hey kids, who's hungry?
Yeah, that's right, it's fucking disgusting. Also, fries are $2 in 2027, which is nowhere close to accurate, especially for sports arena prices. And speaking of event pricing, they actually made an IRL Burger Town for COD XP 2011. And while the only footage of it that I can find is a re-upload of an old Machinima video reviewing the place, they thankfully did get a close-up of the menu. However, the bad news is that they only had combos available, which I was not taking into account when I made up my little Excel sheet tracking everything. However, a burger meal was $12, which when using an inflation calculator adjusted from 2011 up to 2025 makes it 16.84, which is definitely on the higher end, but I don't know, like for a combo, it's about Five Guys prices, to be honest. So you know what, I'll just go ahead and call this one accurate to real life. Probably because it is real life. And then I wanted to check out Infinite Warfare, because I remembered that they remade Terminal in that game, but put it on the moon. So I thought, I don't know, maybe they'd have some cool space burgers or something, but instead, it turns out they just renovated it into a sushi bar. And then lastly, I also booted up Modern Warfare Remastered, expecting them to have put some kind of little Easter egg or something in there, maybe. But honestly, like, credit where credit is due, MWR was actually a pretty faithful remaster, at least map-wise, and I couldn't find any trace of it anywhere. Although, that said, you know what wasn't a faithful remaster? Modern Warfare 2019 properly rebooted the franchise and brought along a handful of maps from the original trilogy through the DLC season, with one of the first, Crash, undergoing a slight cosmetic change in the form of transforming the iconic 3-story building actually into a burger town. That's right, I straight up never realized that this is the Burger Town sign right here. This is supposed to be a fucking an Iraqi burger town, I guess. And then Burger Town could also be found on Verdansk during Warzone 1 times, where you can see it's identical to the one on Crash. And I want you to remember that, because you may start to notice a pattern. But as for the prices, you end up with $160 for a burger. That said though, I am not 100% on the currency. See, because Crash takes place in Iraq, which according to Google would mean that it's likely in Iraqi dinar, which unfortunately isn't listed back on that Big Mac index that we've been using for reference. And the closest thing on the list is Kuwait dinars, but trying to convert 160 Iraqi dinars into Kuwait dinars gives you such a small number that I'm surely doing something wrong here. Although, I don't want to spend too much time here because, as you'll see, these prices come back up later. We'll address them then. However, there is one more Burger Town location found on the map Al Rab Air Base, a map that was always in the game. You're just crazy. And the prices there are just as absurd, with a $2.40 burger, despite Big Macs at the time being around $4.71 back in the States. And now look, I've said that I'm not a lot of things over the years, right? I'm not a game dev. I'm not an anime fan. I'm not that good in bed. But I'm gonna go ahead and add another thing to the list. I am not an economist, so I'm gonna go ahead and tentatively label this game as inaccurate just across the board because it's all over the place. But the fact that these numbers are actually different, and given the level of detail found specifically in this game, and also because I'm a goddamn moron, it's possible that I'm completely off base here. If there's any economists down in the comment section down below, please let me know. I'm an idiot. Now, next up is Black Ops Cold War, where the campaign, multiplayer, and zombies all have a level taking place in this big Russian box. And inside is a perfectly to scale mock-up of all that Americans hold dear. Oh, and look, even Bubby's back. Isn't that cool? Inside, we can see a menu plastered right where it should be. But despite everything else in the area being in English, this is in Russian, implying that this is actually a functioning restaurant that I guess the Russians have their lunches at in between shooting sessions. Although it doesn't really matter because the prices are exactly the same from MW 2019, but this time with the Russian ruble symbol tacked onto it, which makes things a lot more complicated. Because if I'm converting correctly using this chart of exchange rates that I found, the Russian ruble was worth 0.67 USD back in 1984, making the burger $107, which is just fucking bananas. But that said, there is one other hair in the soup, so to speak, and that's that the prices found outside the restaurant, out near Bubby, where they actually are listed out in USD, don't match the ones inside at all. And while the Big Mac index doesn't quite go back that far, plus there's no actual signature burger option out here that we've been using as our base, I was able to search around a little bit and found this image of a McDonald's menu from 1984. And on top of looking pretty damn accurate design-wise, the price is a perfect 55 cents on the money. So I gotta call that one accurate, right? Then next is Modern Warfare 2022, where there's a Burger Town hidden inside the Amsterdam mission. But unfortunately, it is inaccessible. I mean, I even tried asking around a bit to see if there was a secret password or something, but everyone was being really rude to me.
Get the fuck back!
Also, I found a sex shop just right around the corner, but the game wouldn't let me go in without failing the mission. I mean, talk about blue buns, am I right? But thankfully, Burger Town was also featured on the Warzone map that year, Al Mazrah, which is still accessible to this day in DMZ. So I popped into a game quick, marked where I assume one would have been built, and hopped in a boat to speed my way on over. But after a literal hour of fighting for my goddamn life, we finally made it to one of the stores. And as it turns out, it is once again the exact menu and pricing as 2019. And on top of that, the next year in 2023, they brought Burger Town back again on both Urzikstan and the Terminal remake, but also just reused the exact asset, which, to be fair, kind of tracks, seeing as they're all within 4 years of each other. Although technically in our world, there was about 22% inflation from across those years, which honestly is just kind of depressing, and I don't want to unpack that further. Bringing us to the most recent Call of Duty release as of this video, Black Ops 6, where surprisingly, there's only a single place that you can find good old Burger Town, and it's in the middle of the tank section of the airport mission. And I'll just cut off the band-aid here, it's the exact same asset as 2019 again, although it's 35 years in the past. So obviously the prices are completely off, and to be honest, I don't know what I was expecting at this point. But then, right when I was finishing this script and was about to record this video, Treyarch dropped Season 2 Reloaded with the map Grind. And actually, if you just take a sniper rifle and point it just off the map, you can see we actually have another completely original new ad for Burger Town, featuring a classic Burger Town burger for only $4.95 USD. And while I'm thankful that it is an actual different menu this time, it's still more than double of what a Whopper would cost in the 90s, according to this menu that I came across on Reddit. So that's every instance of Burger Town that I could find. And I just want to sum up all my findings real quick. If I could remember why I even did this to begin with. So obviously they aren't actually adjusted for inflation. That's an absurd ask, and frankly, it would have been even more absurd if they actually were. And you know, it's a fake menu for a fake restaurant in the background of an FPS. Genuinely and not so respectively, who gives a shit? Right? But when I look back at older games, I see a certain level of attention from the devs. Like, whoever had to throw together the very first menu knew that almost no one was gonna slow down and actually read it, but they still went through the effort of making menu items. And you know what? The reason that we're even talking about Burger Town today, the fact that it's even a recognizable thing, is because of people like that, who are passionate enough to make sure that even the little things were perfect. And so I wanted to make this video not to criticize the lack of detail, because again, it isn't something that's needed, but I do want to shine a light on all the times that they have gone above and beyond to hit that mark. I'm talking small stuff, like when you hold a Molotov, the fire will kind of drip as you walk. Or like how stationary cars have suspension physics and poppable tires. I'm talking about the little rock, paper, scissors animation you would do if you inspect your hands in the MW2 remaster. Or hell, even the new restaurant menus that they've added to the game since that actually are properly adjusted for inflation. These tiny little details that go ignored by 99% of players, but are just so cool for those who do notice them and help build the world out in a way that feels real, even if it is just kind of steamrolled by the operator skins an hour into the game's life cycle. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, to any game developers out there, big or small, to any artists out there in general, I want you to know that I see you, I appreciate you, and I appreciate the work that goes into the little things that you don't even think to look for.
You're gonna love my meat inside you!
Anyway, I'm gonna go get a burger. Huge thanks to all of my channel members. They're listed all around me right now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Like the video and subscribe, and you guys know. You guys know what's up. I don't gotta tell you nothing. That's it. Bye.